Welcome to the World Archery Excellence Centre for the 2020 Swiss National Championships. This event is brought to you by World Archery as a test so that we will bring you more events live in the future from world ranking tournaments. Got a big session today, and we're going to start with the Compound Masters men's gold medal match. As I said, it's Compound Saturday, and we've got a new lineup today, not only on the 50-meter field, but also in the commentary box. Joining me is Archery GB's John Knott. John, well, the archers are already out. Who have we got in our lineup today?
Yeah, hi, Krim. Welcome. Today we have Martin Imboden and Weli Britsky.
Well, athletes preparing. There is Britsky. Masters events for athletes 50 years and over. And Imboden competes in a wheelchair on the shooting lineup. The athletes are looking ready. Slightly unusual to see a wheelchair archer against ambulance archer, but that's what we've got today. And they are already on the line. As you can see, Imboden will remain on the shooting line for this gold medal match. Athletes just about ready. So, well, let's get straight to end one. So, John, it looks like Martin Imboden will be shooting first on target one. It is an unusual situation, isn't it, for a wheelchair up against an ambulative archer, because there are slightly different rules with the shooting line, aren't there?
Yeah, there are. The para-athletes are allowed to remain on the line, and they are obviously allowed an agent to fetch arrows for them, example. But it is quite common in a lot of national level events. The top para-archers do compete against the able-bodied, and I can tell you a lot of them can compete on the same level.
Well, out in the 7 ring to start things off. And as John Knott alluded to, the archers will alternate. And so Weli Britsky comes up to the shooting line. Close one, but I'm going to give that a 7. John, your thoughts? Is it touching the 8 line?
It was close. I imagine the judge will be having a look at that.
So a good sighter from Imboden. Moves into the 9 ring for his second arrow. Matched by Britsky. Archers will shoot 3 arrows each, alternately in each end. And we work on a cumulative score in compound archery. Solid finish with a 26 there for Imboden. 10 required for Britsky to stay on level terms. And he does just that. So, summary, John, we saw earlier on today the weather conditions were absolutely superb. Looks a little bit windy now.
It does look like there's a little bit of wind around, but I think a lot of that came down to both. The athletes look very nervous to me, especially on the opening arrows, but they settled in as they progressed through the 3 arrows, as you could see.
Yeah, we wait for the agents to retrieve the arrows from the target. And a confirmation of the scores. But I think we both think it's going to be level at 26 apiece, as we've got on the screen.
Did you notice, Karim, that both they both started high and left, and that can simply be just moving from the warm-up side of the field that could be a lot more exposed to wind than where they've just moved in closer to the centre. And they both started similar and both brought their arrows in very similar.
Oh, perfect timing there. There is that high left first arrow from Martin Imboden. But they both recovered to 26 apiece. Looks like they're almost ready to start end 2. So Imboden shot first in end 1 with the scores all tied up. He will shoot first again in end 2, and the line judge there just confirming that 26 apiece. And we'll see the 4th arrow from Martin Imboden. Well, looks like Imboden's calmed his nerves and is dialed into the middle. Well, with the cumulative score, Britsky's got a chance to level things up with a 10. But of course, both archers will have one more arrow each after this one. Again, high and left to start for Britsky, and then perhaps over adjusting. Just saw him altering his sight there. On the line, so it's a 29 in this end for Imboden. Britsky doesn't want this one to get too far away here. And he's hit that one in the middle for a 28. So trails just by a single point. What are your thoughts on that one? Uli Britsky looked like he made an over adjustment between first and second arrows, John.
I was watching Britsky quite closely in that end, and he still doesn't look settled. I don't think he's used to the cameras. His timing is very off. They're not consistent, his shot times, where Imboden looked quite calm to me in those 3 and settled in. And his 29 end, I thought, was class.
Yeah, just smashed into the lead and took a little look back. That's a great first arrow from Imboden. Britsky high and left with his first. Still in the yellow, though. And we're just waiting up for the range declared safe. Looks like we're ready to go. It's time for end 3. So Willie Britsky, trailing by a single point, will shoot first. And as John Knott, our expert commentator, suggested, he needs to just get that consistency back and perhaps calm those nerves. But just a single point behind. So still all to play for. 15 arrows in from each of the archers to see who is going to claim the 2020 Swiss National Masters title in the men's compound. Good start.
Much better.
So, John, what should we be looking for when you're talking about the sort of this inconsistency in Britsky's shot?
It's the timing. He's had some shots where I would say he's around 16 seconds, 17 maybe. And then he's had other shots that have gone off very quickly. So that means he's not quite as settled.
Good grouping there from Britsky, though.
Yep.
This time it's Imboden's turn to make a correction, but he's still in the 9 ring. So Britsky, a 10 here would put some serious pressure on, but you saw straight away he wasn't happy with that one. He's ended up with an 8. The 27 in this end. Big chance here for Imboden.
Nice.
Drops it into the 10 ring. So a 20 puts him 2 points ahead. John, look, it looked like Britsky sort of pulled it together, got the first 2 arrows in a very good grouping. What happened on the third arrow from him?
His third one almost looked like a snatch. If you saw, he came to full draw very quick, and then it just went off, I think, sooner than he expected. And I don't think his, what they call the dot, where he aims, I don't think he was quite on the middle, and it went up high. And he had a chance to get back in the match, but gave the lead back to Imboden.
Yeah, that third arrow from Yuli Britsky. Look at that first arrow, perfect, and then near perfect. Yeah. The second arrow is very close to it, and a little wobble from Imboden, but he comes away with a 2 point lead after 3 ends. 2 more ends to go here, as we can look down the range and see the agent retrieving the arrows. It's a big lead, 2 points with just 2 ends to go.
Yeah, because Britsky really needs to keep the pressure now on Imboden and shoot some 10s, because if he does any more weaker shots out, especially a red, Imboden won't have to work too hard to maintain his lead. Keeping attention on the end of Britsky's stabilizer rod and just look at the movement on the weight at the end.
It's time for end 4 of this gold medal match. So John Knott, our expert, has asked us to look at the stabilizer. That's the long piece of metal sticking out the front. Another 9 for Britsky, not bad. Tens is what Martin Imboden needs to close up the gap. So all square. So Imboden still leading by those 2 points. Another wayward third row. Another 27 from Britsky. And another 10 in response from Imboden. So that lead has grown by 2 more points. John, third arrows twice in a row from Britsky have opened the door from Imboden, and he's, stormed right through it.
Yes, it's true. When you're shooting first and your opponent's always catching you up, it's really important on those high-pressure arrows that you do shoot your arrow in the 10 and make your opponent work. But with the with a soft 8, as I'd call it. It's not making Martin Imboden work too hard to maintain his lead. And Britsky looks nervous and all over the place now.
Yeah, big mountain to climb with just one more end to go. Martin Imboden leading 112 to 108 over Uli Britsky. And a couple of good groupings, the first 2 arrows for Britsky, but then that third wayward arrow has given Imboden a commanding lead. He's got one hand on the title here. Britsky will shoot first. It's time for N5 of this gold medal match. Britsky stepping up to the line. He's got to put the pressure on now, John, hasn't he? He's got to start shooting in the middle of the target.
Yeah, he has to put in the 10s now. Imboden only needs to hold yellow now to win this match.
Good start, but as John said, 3 9s is enough, whatever Britsky does. But that comes pressure of its own. On the line, I'm marking that as a 10. Well, they've marked that as a 10, but it looked like it dropped into the 9, John.
I think it might have caught the line just. Very close.
Well, that looked a shaky shot. That's gone out wide and high. And, well, as you can see, there's now just 1 point in it. Pressure time now. Didn't look happy with that. Got a 9. We are going to have confirmation here unless Imboden shoots a 10. He has got that 10, and whatever happened to that second arrow for Uli Britsky, Martin Imboden has put this with reach. The athletes both know that Martin Imboden is the 2020 Swiss national champion of the Masters men's compound here in Lausanne. John, archery plays this trick on you. You think someone's gone miles into the lead and it is uncatchable, and then the nerves get to them and they throw out one arrow.
Well, I wasn't expecting to see a 7 there from Martin Imboden. He looked really in control. He looked really comfortable. That came from nowhere. I don't know if I didn't even...
Well, you used the word snatch, didn't you? Britsky started with a 10, but the second arrow, well, we slightly disagreed on it. He didn't look happy. Look, that's into the 10. And is this going to be that wayward second arrow we're going to see here?
It faced it all, but it was... There you go.
Yeah, high up into the 7s. Just waiting for confirmation on that second arrow. Is it a 136 or a 137 for Britsky? Whatever it is, it's not going to be enough to take out the 139. There is confirmation that Martin Imboden is the compound Masters men's Swiss national champion of 2020. Celebrations all round. And, well, you alluded to it right at the beginning, John. The para-athletes really can compete at the same level. Some pretty good scores other than 2 or 3 arrows from both archers.
Yeah, I think that Imboden, he was nervous on that first arrow. After that, he settled down. There was that, second to last arrow where he gave a little bit of hope to his opponent, but he cleaned it out with a 10. Great, really impressive performance there.
Really impressive indeed. So Martin and Bowden takes gold, Uli Britsky silver medal, and just for the record, it's Rudy Hotz who took the bronze medal a little bit earlier on today, beating Franz Shaw 133 to 125. So that's the men's Masters compound gold medal match sorted out. Our second match today is the compound women's gold medal match. So, John, we talked about nervy moments. This is for the women's title. And who have we got coming out in the lineup for gold?
Okay, we have Clementine De Galli beat Natalie Dielan.
Galli sitting on target 1 today. And Natalie Dielan will be on target number 2. We'll wait for our line judge to signal who's going to be shooting first and who's going to be shooting at second.
De Galli is the number 1 seed, so she will get to see.
Well, here we go. It's time for end 1 of the women's compound gold medal match. So, De Galli opting to shoot first on target 1. Very close, but and it looks like they've actually called that one for a measure, 9 or 10. Natalie Dielan dropping into the 8 ring to start things off. Good start from Clementine De Galli, John.
Looked really settled.
Another 8, but adjusted well on height. And a fairly solid grouping in the first end for Clementine De Galli. And drifting out into the 6. John, nerves for Natalie Dielan?
Well, obviously, Natalie's more known as a recurve shooter, a 2-time Olympian, I do believe, as well, for Switzerland. So I think she's having a go with the compound today. So I think it's brilliant how she's doing. Her opponent looks a real class act. Really nice shot time in, really composed. Very impressed so far.
Very determined look on her face as well. And showing a tiny bit of emotion there. Happy with that start. And Natalie Dielan, as John says, more used to having a recurve bow in her hands. And also quite known on the international circuit.
Absolutely. Yep. Natalie was a World Cup recurve competitor for, I'm going to say, probably 15 years minimum. As I said, 2 Olympic Games, Beijing and London, I believe, as well. So she's experienced, but not with a compound bow.
She also spends a lot of time on the international circuit these days, helping out behind the scenes, and married to someone, his name I can't quite remember. Is it important, I think?
Yeah, I do believe it's Tom.
Yeah, the chief of World Archery. We're just waiting for confirmation on that score, but it looks like the archers are ready. It's time for end 2 of this gold medal match. Natalie Dealing will shoot first because she's trailing. But John, did you catch whether that first arrow from Clementine de Gilly was marked up as a 9 or a 10 in the first end?
No, I didn't, and the judge was just
It
away.
But yeah, it looks by the score that it was a 9, so a 9-10-9 for de Gilly. So Dealing finds the gold for the first time, a 9.
Yeah. Nice shot.
But de Gilly continues the good form into the second end. Just drifting out into the 8 on the other side. The first one to go left for Dealing. And a good shot. John, it's interesting mix of emotions here as de Gilly just changes her sight a little bit. De Gilly looking very confident, shooting well. Natalie Dealing starting not as well as she'd like, but almost got nothing to lose now.
No, she looks determined though. And it's a whole different ball game when you've got 20 seconds timing down on you there though.
I just saw the little win, but I fancy that will be marked as a 9. It looked like it was on the line. So I've got a 28 again for de Gilly, and that puts her on 56. So now leading by 8 points. That's a big margin, and we're not even halfway through this gold medal match, John.
No, that is a big margin. You can tell that de Gilly is an experienced compound shooter. She's experienced international level as well, and she's very comfortable out there. And I'm very impressed that Natalie has picked up a compound bow. She's out there having a go, and as I said, when you're stood in these final situations and that clock is ticking down from 20 seconds, it is not easy. It's a very short amount of time to pick compound.
Got to say, impressed with the coverage here from our Swiss colleagues. Getting lots of replays of the shots as the agents go and retrieve the arrows. It looks like we're ready to go again, though. It's time for N3. Natalie Dealing trailing now by those 8 points. Will shoot first again. John, the psyche here, in particularly for Clementine de Gilly, is that she's shooting her first arrows really, really well into the 10. How does that set her up for the rest of the end?
It gives you confidence knowing that it's right. Because if that first arrow hits the 10, there's more confidence on the second shot, knowing that it's sighted incorrect now.
First 10 for Natalie Dealing there. But a 10 and 2 9s and another 28. Consistency is the order of the day for Clementine de Gilly. The first 10 for Dealing, though, as John said, normally a recurve archer has done tremendously well and impressed to get to this gold medal match, but really under the cosh big time now, trailing by 9 points. Just how impressive is it for a recurve archer to shoot a compound bow, John?
Some very basic principles are the same, but there is a lot of difference. But to pick one up and have her go into championships, it's just full on impressive whatever you're doing. It's like asking a sprinter to run a marathon. Like, it's still running, but it's different.
and made the final. It's just very, very impressive. Well, she's come up against someone in determined mood today in Clementine de Gully. De Gully on 84 plays 75. It's time for N4. Well, we always remain neutral in the commentary box, but I'm sure everyone is backing Nathalie Deelen to start well in this fourth end. Match looks like it really has got away. Oh, there it is. The second 10 in a row for Nathalie Deelen. John, nothing stopping Clementine de Gully today, is it?
First arrow every time is on the money.
Great grouping. Deelen's found the middle. Drifting down into the 9. She hasn't missed the yellow centre of the target, de Gully, though. And best score end-wise for Nathalie Deelen, a 29. And another 9 for de Gully. So, well, she's got a point back, Deelen, here, but with de Gully leading by 9 going at fourth end, it's still looking a very, very big task. Surely nothing can happen in the last end, John.
Well, I think we've had good no-nonsense archery from de Gully, to be honest. It's not easy when you come up against somebody like Natalie. You wouldn't normally be doing this. You can get drawn into it. But she's carried on with her own match plan. She shot solid 28s every end. She hasn't got phased. And she's just got on with it.
Yeah, I think Nathalie Deelen wanted the scoring to start, well, halfway through the third end. Big ask. With 3 arrows left, a maximum of 30 for each of the archers possible. Deelen trailing will shoot first. It's time for the fifth and final end. Deelen on the line, just taking her time. Deep breath. She wants to finish well, that's for sure. Big wobble there. John mentioned that stabilizer earlier on, and the result is a 7. Stabilizer is the big arm that sticks out the front of the bow. We want that as stable as possible. First wide arrow from de Gully, and she immediately reacted. Thoughts up in there? Wind's picked up, maybe?
I was just wondering if the wind is a bit of wind we can't obviously feel, and she was a lot longer on her shot, her timing.
Yeah, perhaps it was a bit gusty for both of them on their first arrows, finding a 10. Very, very close to the line there. Probably subject to a measure, but this one is out of reach. Will be a silver medal for Nathalie Deelen, though. Drifting out into the 7 for a 24 and a 128. 1 arrow to spare for gold here. She'll want to finish with a 10. She gets a 9, but it's more than enough. And Clementine de Gully takes the compound women's gold medal match here at the 2020 National Championships in Lausanne. Well, John, just got to say, incredibly impressive performance from Clementine de Gully, and just what every archer wants, consistency, just the one stray arrow.
Absolutely. But, even with that big lead, her last end, she saw some tension creep into it, which is quite amazing. We don't know if there was a bit of wind getting them, but yeah, she's got solid. 14 out of 15 of those shots were fast.
Superb performance. Clementine Digali takes the 2020 Swiss national title in the compounds women's gold from Nathalie Deelen. The bronze medal went to Florence Mayland, who beat Maria Isch in the bronze medal match, as we take a look back at some of Clementine Digili's shots. And that was her very, very first arrow as well. You could see that she was just giving herself a little mental pat on the back. The first end for Deelen, well, it just didn't start well. It did get better, much better in fact, but the match drifted away in the first 2.5 ends for Nathalie Deelen. But the recurve archer does away with the compound silver in the Swiss nationals. This gold medal match was all about Clementine Digili. Well, coming up now, it is the compounds men's bronze medal match. Well, John, the archers are stepping up to the line. Who have we got in the lineup for this bronze medal match?
We have Richard Herr and Pascal Arita.
Well, there we see Pascal here to another para archer going for a medal here at the Swiss National Championships. He prepares on the line for this bronze medal match. Winner, of course, of this match gets to appear on the podium. Loser, fourth place, almost the worst place to finish in an individual sports event. We just watch Hirita just prepare himself. Got any particular comments that we should look out for a para archer?
Well, I think this is testament to the level of para archery around the world, particularly in the compound men's division. As I said earlier, there's many countries that I know the top para archers could feature at this level in a national championship.
Well, it's time for end one of this bronze medal match. Hirst will get us underway for this match, shooting on target 1. Solid 9. It's a high 7. Opportunity already for Hirst to capitalise on a stray arrow. He drifts out into the 8. John, Pascal needs a good recovery here almost immediately.
Yeah, well, he's got a chance to come back in. Again, I think it's not quite sighted in from practice range to this side of the field.
Yeah, first arrow can be very troublesome, especially with the nerves probably at their highest. Hirst with another 8. So after a 7 to start with, Pascal Hirita could get an early lead here. And puts it in the 9. And does indeed take a 1-point lead. How important, John, is that first arrow in a medal match?
I feel we could describe that as quite a nervy end from both competitors. But I think the fact that you've come out on top will give you some confidence. I could see clearly that Hurst's third arrow was going to go high because his arrow crept forward just before he triggered his release aid.
So you're saying you could see that even before the arrow was released, before it was let go, you could see that?
Yes, clearly, because when he's aiming, you could see the point of his arrow move forward about 2 or 3 millimeters, and that makes arrows go high in compound bows.
There you go. Insight into this. The ranges are looking clear already. It's time for end 2. Looked like Hurst had an opportunity to capitalise on a 7 from Pascal Heriteur in the first end, but he didn't, and in fact left wing. So he will shoot first in the second end of this bronze medal match. So the question now is, has Pascal Heriteur dialed in? Again, was that sort of jitter just at the end you were talking about, John?
Yeah, they just look, there's a lot of tension in both of them, and that doesn't help when you're shooting compounds, because you need that relaxed aim.
Well, I called it a 10, but subject to a measure. Pressure on Richard Hurst here. And another one out into the 8. So another 25 for Richard Hurst. Puts him on a 50. And another 8 there. This is a really up and down match going on here. A potential 26, maybe 25 for Pascal Heriteur, but currently marked as a 52 for him, leading now by 2 points. John, you mentioned you could see the tension. We're seeing it unfold here. Both archers seem to be a little bit all over the place.
I can feel it coming out of my screen. There's a lot of nerves on that shooting line. Neither of them look settled. The flags around them don't appear to be blowing, so it's not like they're fighting really strong wind. I just think there's a lot of nerves, and I don't think anybody wants to finish fourth.
Yeah, the pressure of the bronze medal match, having to recover from losing in the semi-finals, adds to it. Got to pick yourself up. We'll just wait to find out whether that second arrow is marked as a 9 or a 10, but it is already time for end 5 of the bronze medal match. End 3, away, Hurst trailing by 2 points, and now just having to pull out. There we do have confirmation. It was a 10 for Heriteur in the last end, so it is a 2-point lead for him. Oh, good 10, and his first for Richard Hurst. What was that pullback from the draw there, John?
It means it didn't quite settle on him, so he kind of had to tug in again to the back wall. You have to keep it hard on the back wall.
So just deciding to reset for his first arrow. 20 seconds on the clock. And look at the grouping Hurst has found in this third end. A good grouping and in the right ring. What's the response? An 8. Those 2 points that he had in the lead have disappeared. And it's an opportunity for Hurst to put some pressure on. Can he get another 10? Just into the 9, so a 29. Puts him on 79 in total. And now the pressure switches over to Hirita. A 10 here keeps him in the lead by 1. And look at the response. A 7. And he came in leading by 2 points, Hirita. He goes out trailing by 2. What a turn in this match, John Knott.
Well, I'm still not going to say this match is anywhere near over. I think it could go either way still. But definitely, Hirita on his third arrow, he rushed it, I felt. And he didn't take his time to settle down the shot. And the result of that was 7.
This man here, though, Richard Hirst, has found his form. Shot 2 25s in the first 2 ends. Followed that up with a 29 in the third and has snatched the lead. Look at that grouping, very good. The last one just trailed out into the 9. But trailing now, Pascal Hirita will start in 4. Got to forget about the 4 points in the last end. Hirita on the 8-9 line. I think it's probably going to get marked to a 9. Looks like Hirst has overcome the battle with his own nerves. He's not missed the center of the target for 4 arrows. Good pressure. So better shooting for Pascal Hirita in the 4th end, but big opportunity for Hirst to build the lead here. Oh. Another 10 and a first perfect 30 of the match. 109 playing 104. John, how do you explain that turnaround in sort of, you know, you're getting a grip of your nerves?
I feel that Hirst suddenly found his feelings, his form, his focus, and he just, this is the situation I'm in, and I'm going to cope with it. And I think once he got that first 10, he seems to have suddenly got in a flurry, but that has also had a negative effect on his opponent, who suddenly seems even more nervous now, shooting well and can't respond.
Yeah, Hirst now requires hitting the middle of the target, looking for dropped points, but trails by 5, and we know that is a big margin with the accumulative score here in compound archery. So it's time for the 5th and final end of this bronze medal match. But if ever you needed a good start, Pascal Hirita is looking for one right here. And he gets it, a perfect. So pressure switching over. Well, a good start from Pascal Hirita, looking for getting the middle of the target and looking for dropping points from Hirst. And Hirst is playing into that game. 5-point lead down to 4. Hirst holding the lead notionally. Recovered. Needed that 10.
I don't know what's going to happen now.
I don't think I do either. and dropping into the 8 for a 26 to finish. And a 6 is all Hirst needs to take the bronze. Long hold. Pressure. Oh, and he's found the middle of the target after all the pressure of the long hold. It is Richard Hirst's grimace as he takes the bronze medal here in the Swiss National Championships in the compound men's event. John, no, I mean, look, we said Pascal Hiriita needed to hit the middle of the target and hope his opponent drops points. He shoots a 10 in the first arrow of the final end, and Hirst follows up with a 6.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Grim. Yeah, that was exciting right to the last arrow, wasn't it? It could have gone anyway. Anyway.
Incredible. And you called it. You said that this could go anyway, right the way through. But it's compound men's bronze at the Swiss National Championships for Richard Hirst. And Pascal Hiriita also had an up and down match, but he ends in 4th place. Hirst will be on the podium a little bit later. So now we switch over to our last match of the session. It is the compounds men's gold medal match. We'll just pick up some of the slow motion replays of the shots in that medal match, but it looks like the athletes are ready for the announcements here. John Knott, what have we got in this gold medal match?
Oh, we have Pierre Hoffa and Roman Hasselfinger.
Sur la cible 2, représentons le club de Basel-Bitter BS, Roman Hasselfinger.
So Hasselfinger on target number 2, Hoffa on target number 1, and this is for our last gold medal match of this session here at the Swiss National Championships. It will be Hoffa who will shoot first. And we are clear and ready to go for the men's compound gold medal match. It's time for end 1. So we've seen how important the start is here in these medal matches. The wind looks like it has been a little bit blustery at times as well, just to add to the pressure. A long hold, but comes out with a 10. John, do you get nervous when the athletes hold for such a long time?
I do, particularly if you're the coach behind the athlete. If you know it's above their normal shot time.
On 8 to start for Hoffa. But would you agree the conditions, John, have just got a little bit more blustery? I mean, the archers don't have a little bit of wind as long as it's consistent, but it seems to have got just a tiny bit blustery.
If it catches you, particularly with the compound bows, if you're on that final split second of your aim, just before your release activates and the wind catches you, it can be disaster, and it makes it very scary.
Well, I don't think we can put that one down to the wind. I think there's been an overcorrection by Roman Hasselfinger there. Big opportunity for a big lead, and he's taken it with a 29. Roman Hasselfinger, he's done one low, one high. Really could do with hitting the middle of the target already. Oh, and there we go. On delivery for the 25. And Hoffa leads by 4 after the first end. Look, John, be honest. I mean, I'm calling the wind a little bit blustery. It's not. It doesn't look strong, but is this a combination of wind and nerves, or do you think it's just nerves?
Both of these guys, highly experienced international shooters, could be a little bit of wind going on. But Hoffa, he's been second in the World Cup final in the past and won other international events. Hasselfinger, not as experienced, but it's a home venue. Yeah, a bit of nerves maybe on those shots. Be that far out.
Yeah, and perhaps the experience that Hoffer's got is going to be the deciding factor. Roman Hofferfinger, trailing by 4, will shoot first in N2. Right,
Brilliant.
John, here's a question for you. As we're, I know they're all good shots now. I've got a question for you. So, Roman Hofferfinger having a tricky first end. Is there an element of he's got nothing to lose now? He can just shoot his game.
That is correct. But at this level, with an opponent as experienced as Patrizio, he's relying on mistakes.
Well, on for a perfect score here, Roman Hofferfinger. Just a slightly longer hold this time. And he's nailed the centre of the target. And a bit of relief there by the looks of things, John.
Yeah, it looked like that was going low for a second, but he just managed to pull it up. Good comeback.
With another 29, Hoffer gaps closed by 1, but it required a perfect score for Roman Hofferfinger. Just going back to what I was saying about the if you shoot a bad first end, I mean 25 is not a bad first end by most people's standards, but here at this level it is. Do you just forget about it and just start shooting?
Yeah, so it can go both ways. You can sometimes that happens and the rest of the match is just perfect, but sometimes it eats you up and you don't come back from it. So to come back with a 30 after a 25, brilliant archery, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Good recovery. Can he capitalise on the form that he's found? He's closed the gap up to 3 points, but he still trails. So it will be Roman Hofferfinger to shoot first in the third end. So Hofferfinger here on target number 2. Remember, this is the men's compound gold medal match at the Swiss National Championships of 2020.
Did you see his sight just dip as it went off? You just see it was going a little bit low.
Yeah. Do you think he forced that one, or he was trying to, as they say, or was it bad execution?
You're trying to keep a very small dot in the middle of that target, and it just starts floating down sometimes, and you start raising it back up. And if it executes at the wrong time, it'll go exactly where it's pointed.
Just made a little adjustment there on a 29.
Yeah.
Patrizio Hoffer, though, also
Nice.
shoots a 10 for his second arrow. Hofferfinger's just got to forget about his opponent and put this in the middle of the target. And he's done just that. Another 29 here. And it's another 9 and another point back for Roman Hofferfinger. Interesting here, 86-84, but Hofferfinger's clawed back. back 1 point over the last 2 ends. John, if he continues to do that, by the time we get to the 5th, we'll be all level.
We'll have a shoot-off. That'd be nice. Yeah, I'm surprised at Hoffer shooting the third one out then. I thought he looked really in control of his archery today. His qualification score this morning, he shot 709 points, which is an incredible score. So, you know, he's the man to beat today.
The pressure of gold, though, as you can see, Hoffer still leading, but only by 2 points now. So, again, Roman Hoffelfinger will get us underway. It's time for N4. He's clawed his way back into this match after a tricky first end. Roman Hoffelfinger will get end number 4 of this gold medal match underway. Looked a little shaky there, but again pulls off a 10. Just what he needed to put a bit more pressure on Patricio Hoffer. Big twitch there at the end, John, but another 10.
Yeah, he gave that a bit of, I think they call it a bit of English as he shot it, bring it in.
Yeah, fabulous group. A illustration of, or evidence of good shooting, consistent shooting, and potentially there's at least 1 point more up for grabs for Hoffelfinger. But he drifts out into the 8. So a 28 and a 1-1-2. So now a big chance for Hoffer here to pull back into the lead. He gets another 9. So a 28 for him. Keeps that 2 point lead. 114 plays 1-1-2. Oh, just when Roman Hoffelfinger was going to make this one push all the way to the end. I mean, he's not out of it, John, but dropped that last arrow.
Well, today just keeps the day that keeps on giving, isn't it? Just as Hoffelfinger looked like he was really in control of the match, and his form was looking great. That shot was just not as clean as his previous few. I think he knew it the second it went off. But then Hoffer chance to close the door and still only shoots a 9. So it's only 2 points in this last end, and that could be fine today. Either way.
Yeah, well, there was a 4 point swing in the first end, but there's never been anything more than 2 in the following ends. It's time for the 5th and final end of the compound men's gold medal match. Well, Roman Hoffelfinger will shoot first on target 2, needs to pile on the pressure, and I fancy he needs at least a 10 here at the start to keep this alive. Gets a 9. Well, a bit of a sigh of relief for Hoffer, but he didn't capitalise.
The flags, the high flags are really going.
Good grouping again, but it's in the 9s again, and you see Hoffelfinger just adjust his sight. In the 10, and that could have put this one out of reach. Hoffelfinger, I fancy, needs that 10. Has the adjustment to the sight made the difference? Well, he gets the 10. It's a 28. Finishes on a 140, but anything more than a 7, and Hoffer's got the Swiss title. Well, he's put it into the 8, and that has got it, but only by a single point. What an incredible match again, John.
I'm a bit lost for words. Yeah, that looked really. I think they were chasing it. I think there was a lot of wind that we obviously can't feel from the commentary position. Yeah, and there also a lot of shadows come across the field. So they're in bright light and the target's shadow, and that can make it hard as well. But yeah, that was a much closer match than it should have been after the first end by a long way.
Well, Patricio Hoffer has taken it, though. He is the Swiss national title holder of 2020 in the compound men's discipline, beating Roman Hoffelfinger in a brilliant gold medal match. And as you said, John, it was a day that kept on giving.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a superb session here on Compound Saturday in Lausanne. We've seen Martin Imboden take gold in the men's masters. Clementine de Gilly taking gold in the compound women's discipline. And just seen Patricio Hoffer in gold in the men's compound. Are we expecting more of this tomorrow, John? Because we moved from compound to recurve.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, in the sets format as well, it's never over, is it, with the recurves? There could be some very exciting matches. And I wonder if we'll see Natalie Dean shoot recurve tomorrow.
Yeah, very interesting day indeed. Nerves and wind, we think, played a part on Compound Saturday here at the 2020 Swiss National Championships. But these pictures as the volunteers clear up have done a great job putting this tournament on. Measures put in place, of course, to deal with COVID-19 to allow for this championship to come on. John, thank you very much for your insight.
Thank you.
John, it's been a great pleasure to have your insight here on Compound Saturday, and I look forward to talking to you again on Recurve Sunday. Thanks to all of you for watching. Do join us tomorrow, same time, Recurve Sunday at the 2020 Swiss National Championships.